Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Old People Wisdom. Hashtag OPW. Last time we talked about movement and the difference between being ready and being willing. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Come on in. We spend a few minutes talking about things that are relevant in the world and little nuggets to help you navigate your journey on this path we call life a little more successfully, a little more effectively. And we're going to piggyback on this concept that we discussed last time of movement, being willing to do something different. I'm going to share a story with you. Those of you who know me have heard the story before, and yet it bears repeating. It's an important story. I have a knack for attracting celebrities in my life. I've met, oh my stars, too many to count, meeting celebrities in my life of all different kinds: musicians, writers, athletes, just a broad variety of celebrities that I've attracted in my life. And I think really and truly the reason I attract celebrities in my life is because energetically I see no difference between them and me. I'm not fangirling all over people. I'm just super chill. And I recognize that they're just people like you and I are. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. And I think it's because of that, I don't have an energetic barrier up between them and me. And so I just have had a chance to meet a number of great celebrities over the years. I want to talk about one such occasion of meeting a celebrity. And total transparency, this is the only time in my life I've ever been actually starstruck. Let me give you a little backstory. I'll attempt to keep it brief. However, it's an important backstory to who this celebrity is. The gentleman's name is John Assaraf. Maybe you've heard of John. Maybe you know who John is. John works in the neuroscience field for a lot of times. A lot of years he's written books and had information available. He has his own training company, NeuroGym, and a big fan of John. I am a big believer in what he teaches and his practices. You may be more familiar with John if you've ever seen the movie The Secret. John was the gentleman in The Secret who described his experience of vision board. He'd made a vision board. He had several things on his vision board to include a house, and then had packed all of his belongings away and put it in storage while he moved not once but twice across country. Not small moves, big moves. Put everything in storage, moved from the Midwest to the Pacific Northwest for work, and then ended up moving from the Pacific Northwest down to Southern California for, again, same, for work. And it's only when they got settled in California that he asked for all of his things to find their way to him from storage. And during the process of unpacking all of the things that were in storage, one of his children happened to say to him, "Hey, Dad, look, it's our house," on the vision board. And sure enough, they had bought the exact house that was on the vision board. And why didn't John know that? Well, as it so happened, the image of the house that was on the vision board was taken by helicopter from the water. So it was a back-facing view of the house. And when they had seen the house, they only got to see it on the drive in. So a little different perspective. They hadn't seen it from the exact same perspective. Bought the house. Long story short. So that's how you may be familiar with John. Well, you may or may not know, I worked for a personal development company for a very long time. I now have my own personal development company. And for years, this company that I worked for would hold a once-a-year conference up in Northern California at the corporate headquarters and invite in all of these amazing people that were big in personal development and the human potential movement. And so I've had the chance to meet and see some amazing, amazing speakers. People like Deepak Chopra, people like John Assaraf, Bob Proctor, had lunch with Bob Proctor. Just some amazing, amazing people. Well, John Assaraf happened to be at this particular conference that I'm referring to many, many years ago. And he was talking on law of attraction. After the talk, one of my good friends that I was sitting next to at the conference said, "Hey, do you want to go back and meet John?" She happens to be sorority sisters with John's wife, and she was at their house twice a week doing Pilates with them at their house. She's like, "Come on back, come meet John." I'm like, Okay. Again, my moment of being starstruck, because this is my person that I look up to, right? So I go back and Gina's like, hey, John, this is my friend Terri. Hey, Terri, this is my friend John. And I stick my hand out to handshake, right? Trying to be professional, give him a handshake. And I start shaking his hand. And he's like, hey, Terri, it's nice to meet you. And all that comes out of my mouth is this sound, this weird, weird sound that sounded something like, hello. I don't even know what that sound was. I was so embarrassed. And I'm still shaking John's hand. And he's like, did you enjoy the talk? Uh-huh. Still nodding, still shaking John's hand. And at a total loss for words. If you know me, you know I'm almost never at a loss for words. If you only know me through these videos, you know I'm never at a loss for words, right? I was in this moment. I'm shaking hands, still shaking hands at an incredibly awkward amount of time. John is such a gracious human. He doesn't say a word about the fact that I still have an iron death grip on his hands. And he goes, okay. He goes, do you practice the law of attraction? And I just nod. Uh-huh. He said, oh, that's fantastic. Then you must have everything that you want out of life. And I stopped shaking his hand. I didn't let go. I stopped shaking, though. And I looked at him and I said, well, not yet. Not yet. I'm working on it. He said, well, Terri, are you practicing the law of GOYA? That was like a 3 steps back to me, the law of GOYA. What the hell is the law of GOYA? So I snatched my hand back. And suddenly, I don't care if I look cool or not. At all. I whipped out a notebook and I looked at John and I thought to myself, I wonder if this is the secret behind the secret. Like, is this a secret that they don't tell you about in The Secret, this law of GOYA? And so I just looked at him and I said, how do you spell that? Is that with a G? Is that with a J? GOYA. Is there a book? Is there a tape? Is there a CD, DVD? How do I get my hands on this law of GOYA? Like, I need more information, John. Come on, spill. Spill the tea. John, being the gracious human he is, he just chuckled. And not at me, just a general good-natured chuckle. Did not at all make me feel inferior or stupid because I didn't know what the law of GOYA was. The law of GOYA. He's like, for real, Terri, you've never heard of it? No. No, I say very seriously. He said, it's spelled G-O-Y-A. So I write that down, G-O-Y-A. He said the law of GOYA. In order for you to have something in your life that you've never had before, it requires you to get off your ass. GOYA. Get off your ass. In fact, it was so profound and so impactful, I had it tattooed on my wrist as a constant reminder. And as you see, I have it on apparel as well that I wear. Get off your ass. It's a reminder to me every time I look down and I see my arm. It's a reminder to me to take action, movement, and specifically action and movement outside my head, like out in the physical real world to do something. Let me be clear. For all of my be, do, havers, right? Those are people who recognize you have to be first, then do, then have, not have, do, be, which is how we think it is. We think we have to do all this work and then we'll be happy. No, it starts first with being. I have to be happy, confident, fulfilled, and then do action steps to get me where I want to be in my life to have the things I want to have, right? So it's be, do, have, not have, do, be. Yet it does require that doing in the middle. The doing is the sandwich part. The sandwich part, think of an Oreo, right? The filling's the best part, that part in the middle. So the doing is a critical step. You have to take action out in the real world, outside your noggin. Not getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready, like actually taking measured action. In my line of work, I had a coach one time that told me, massive imperfect action. Even if it's baby steps, start with taking action. Start with something. Something every single day, compounded, is a critical step in getting to where you want to be. Something, even baby steps every day, compounded over time, create lasting effects. If you're enjoying hanging out and you're enjoying being on this journey with me, if you're looking for tidbits, if you're looking for coaching, if you're looking for some ways to figure life out, you've come to the right place. And I'm giving it to you for free. Why? Because I care. I care. I care about our world. I care about you. I want you to live an extraordinary life. So make sure that you hit like and subscribe, especially if it's your first time here. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment below. Tell me how you're taking action. I want to hear what your Goya is. I want to hear from you. And along the way, be willing to share this with somebody if it's of value to you. Make sure to hit the notification bell. Make sure that you're getting notified every time we drop a new video. I appreciate you being on the journey with me, and I'll see you in the next video.